I think, you've got to step back and you've got to look at the undertow that's underway. People have lost confidence in their government, and they got a new government. Now they got lost confidence already. I mean, after the first 100 days, after having a 60 rating, stinks. And I projected by October the president's rating will be 40, because he's doing the same thing that the other nincompoop that was in there did. And so I don't see any stopping in the deterioration of the economy. It's just not going to be maintaining the same velocity to the downside as it has over the past year, or 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I see a moderating influence for all that money and credit. But it's not going to stop the deterioration, and it's not going to really create jobs on any lasting basis. And there's going to be a hiatus. And I may be wrong. The deflationary pull might be too great. And if it is, we won't get that hiatus. They just keep on going down sharply. But I'm looking at fundamentals, and I'm thinking that we could have a moderation. I mean, the FOMC today was talking about deflation again as a justification for all of this financial sleight of hand that's going on. Prices are still going up. Some prices are going down. Commercial, residential real estate, bankruptcies, people out of work, personal bankruptcies, foreclosures. There's a big downward pull there. And they have to justify creating all this money and credit by saying, oh, we see deflation there. Switzerland just did the same thing. They're full of crap. They're devaluing their currency so they can be competitive. And they're also following the dictates of the United States government, who is telling them zero interest rates and create money and credit and monetize. And they're doing what they're told. Incidentally, as an aside to this, the real reason that the U.S. government wants to access American accounts, especially the big ones, in Switzerland, is that they believe in those accounts a substantial amount of gold. And I was told by somebody in Washington that that's what they're after, plus the taxation and penalties. They don't want to put anybody in jail. They just want to get paid for those who have violated U.S. laws. And, how do we know that they did? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But coming back to this thing that we're facing here, the pull is still going to be downward. Inflation is 9 to 10% right now. And the only reason, and listen to this carefully, and it's in today's International Forecaster in the front section. There's about 5.5 pages there that pertains to this. The reason you haven't seen the monetization as yet crop up in high inflation, and it should be starting about now, is because the money that's being lent to the banks, given to the banks in exchange for this toxic paper, is being put back into the Fed on deposit. It's called sterilization. So what's happening is, yes, the banks got the money. Yes, the banks are giving the money back, but they're holding it on their balance sheets as something that they have. And they do have it. But the money's sitting at the Fed. and hasn't been monetized, hasn't been used in the general economy. Very, very important. Now, the monetization is taking place by the Treasury.
We're on break, Bob.
Oh.
So, keep that thought. We'll be right back.
Thanks. Let's see what George has got here.
And we're back.
Tax question for Melanie. Okay.
Hold it. 800-375-4188 for your gold and silver coins, and, of course, for your international forecaster, a complimentary issue. Bob, tell them about the IF, please.
The international forecast is about business, finance, economic, social, and political issues all over the world. We publish by email on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Usually runs around 35 pages each time. I apologize for today, but it's chock full. Give you something to do over the weekend because the next one's going to be smaller. And we have a hard copy for those who are not on the Internet that go out twice a month. And if you'd like to go to our site and take a look, that address is the internationalforecaster.com. The international, forecaster.com. And if you'd like to email and ask a question, that address is bob@intforecaster.com. That's bob@intforecaster.com. Melody.
1-800-375-4188. I thought you were going to repeat it. 800-375-4188.
You're getting off easy here, kid. All right, this is a Melody question.
Hey, I didn't talk about my gold and silver coins.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Call us.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Call us at Discount Gold and Silver for all your gold and silver coin needs. Give us a call. 800-375-4188. Fast shipping. Important. And, folks, when you make an agreement with someone, you go through. We saw gold and silver drop. And nothing irritates me more is when someone commits to an order and they fail to follow through. And it isn't even so much about the order, it's the principle. I mean, I work very hard to if I say something, it goes, and we all make mistakes. But you know what? You give your word, you make a contract, you go through with it. And I can't tell you how many times when someone has called me and says, well, I bought from ABC Company, their prices are $50 more than yours, what should I do? I will tell them to go through with their order because they made that commitment. They can call them up and try to get a lower price, and then at that point in time, then you can back out if they don't want to adjust. It's their choice. But you go through with your word, and you complete your orders. And, that's one of the last things we have anymore is our word. And so I just get wigged out when someone doesn't complete their orders. And we have very few of them, but you always have it when gold drops from $920 to $880. And so you always will have a few. There was one more, but we'll touch that on the next day because I'll have to remember. 800-375-4188. Go ahead, Bob.
Failing memory. Okay, I just got the returns on the gold stock. AEM was down 1.25% on the day. GG was off 0.49 of 1% on the day. MFN was off 0.42%. That's less than 1% on the day. And the SSRI was up 1.75% on the day. So it wasn't a bad day at all. And getting on to the next question that I have. It'll be very quick because this one you're going to answer. Tax question for Melody. This is from George. How does the capital gains tax work if you bought some gold or silver coins, say 15 years ago, and you have no record of the price purchased, and you want to liquidate some of those coins? That's number one. Answer that, and I have number two here.
Well, number one, contact your accountant. We don't give tax advice, but it's very easy to pretty much figure out what your records can be 15 years ago. At least you can get a confirmation. Of course, if you deal with the same broker, Usually those records are there, so you can always find what the prices were going at that point in time. Just very easily, I can go back 15 years and give you numbers on various coins and so forth. So, and any place that you bought them from, very likely they will have your records. So, very easy to find out, unless they're no longer in business, that's something else. But when it comes to tax advice, I always tell my customers, call your tax accountant.
All right, number 2, how does this work if you want to liquidate $10,000 worth? Since thanks to the Patriot Act, you have to register that transaction with the government. Now, Mel,